Welcome back to What Arty Noobs. This is a ShPTK-TVP, which is a Tier 8 Czech premium tank destroyer. It's located on the southeast spawn of Fjords, and it's under the command of CIENOBUCHxD. And he's got 3 marks of excellence on the barrel. He's also got a bounty turbo, coated optics, and an improved rammer. And he's got skill as his commander. Okay, what can I say about this tank? It's kind of odd shaped because it looks slightly longer than it should be, but it's armed with a 100mm main gun, capable of 250 alpha and penetrating 270mm of armor with standard ammo. And with the heat rounds, it can go up to 330mm, so fairly useful. It also has HE rounds capable of 420 alpha and 100mm of penetration. So there's a lot of tanks out there that you can pen with the HE, and of course that will give you a much increased damage on them. It's only got 6 degrees of gun depression though, so it's not really a ridgeline warrior, but it does have a fairly fast reload, 5.18 by the book. And you can see here CIENOBUCH has got 4.25. It's also very fast on the aim, so 1.3 seconds. So once you aim at something, you're dialed in before you reloaded. Skoda's feeling that. Can he get the kill? Well, he does get the kill, but he actually took a HE round, or rather, the enemy Arty fired at him, and that's an FB3805. It's a tier 9 game with tier 8 tanks in it. I think that was very hastily aimed. You can see where the artillery shell landed. It landed a little way away, and the next shot actually hit the, or was aimed at the conway on our team. Okay, so he managed to get around into the LC790 as well. He's actually, did select the HE rounds, and then he's gone back to AP again. I think it's because he's expecting somebody else to be around there. There's the Vipera, but he's down by the rocks, right down the south there, near those pools. The enemy does have a ELC M90 and a T92. And if those guys get close to this tree line here, then they should be able to spot us whenever we move out. So we don't really want them to be around. There's the Vipera again. Now, actually has less hit points than most. It's traded armor for mobility as well. Top speed is 55 kilometers now, but the frontal armor is only 65, 40 on the others. Well, he got a shot into the ELC790, and the kill shot goes to the LT432, but we did take a splash from the FB3805 because the artillery shell landed the other side of the rock, and we were close to the shell when it landed, so yeah, a bit of splash. Okay, gets one into the rear of the Kunstpanzer, who's actually taking damage. We're 2 down on the enemy at the moment. Okay, there's the Noobs, and we can definitely see him. Good shot. In fact, actually, I think, yeah, he was firing the HE round there. That guy's so far away that he actually can't see us unless there's a light tank down at the tree line just in front of us. As I said, those guys can actually spot us and then fire at us. So I don't think the enemy has got a light tank near us at the moment, because if they did, we'd be being hit by their tank destroyers. But the T92 was seen down this, so maybe he's just not moved up yet. The other warriors, they've got a ShPTK-TVP 4. And although that's a medium tank, it acts like a tank destroyer for 105mm shells, whereas this is a 100mm. Of course, this tank never actually got built because it was just a design. The Soviet state, Czechoslovak state actually bought Soviet. Oh, that was a good shot on the T92. It was a long lead on that shot. Okay, well, we're in trouble now because we're 3 down. And it's mostly tank destroyers left on our team. We've just lost our Arty as well, so got no Arty support now. And now the enemy's trying to come around. They're trying to kill these SU-130PM, and we've lost our last remaining heavy tank. That was the AE Phase 1. So now we're going to have to try and take out this pattern. The SU-130PM is keeping it at bay, so we're going to fire into the side of him. And we are getting rounds. That was a penetration with the HE round. Okay, now he's selected the AP. Now he is, from this angle, able to get shells in, but the pattern, he just fired an HE at us. Of course, he expected us to pen us. We got the shell through the cupola, and now we've got a ShPTK-TVP 4. Trouble is, he's going to be spotting for his team. And the enemy Arty just fired at our SU-130PM. And we just lost him. The T-92 killed him in the end. So there's no need for us to stick around. In fact, there's only 2 left on our team. The Conway and us. So he's retreating to pair up with the Conway. Try and fight the enemy off together. Oh no, the Conway's gone down. Well, he managed to get around into the Skoda, went for the lower plate and got it. So that's 1 kill. It's now up to 3. Going for the BZ-58. The 68 fires at us. And yeah, oh, we killed him. But unfortunately, we're down to half our hit points now. Now, ideally, you need to go down and don't use this area. It's too dangerous. T-92 comes in. Oh, it's the ShPTK-TVP 4. And we get clobbered in the rear by the Udas. And the game is over suddenly, as if somebody rage quit. I don't know why. Anyway, let's have a look at the end of battle stats. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was an ace tanker game for CIENOBUCH in the Shrek, or the ShPTK-TVP. He managed to get a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. He got 4 exactly. He also got a duelist for taking down 2 tanks who damaged him. 5 for effect for doing more damage to the hit points of his own vehicle. Bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 9. And he got the high caliber for dealing the most damage in that game overall. His win rate was 8,860, which is Super Unicum standard. And he failed to get a collar ban off, but he was in line to get a collar ban off if he could have survived a bit longer. And I think it might have helped, actually, if he'd been a bit more mobile to get away from the position he was in, because it wasn't a good position to be holed up with a Udas behind you and a ShPTK-TVP 4 in front of you. Anyway, as it stands, let's have a look at team score. Well, you can see definitely got the highest damage, 5,213 to CIENOBUCH. Second highest damage was the Waffenträger auf Panzer IV on the enemy team with 3,252. And the third highest damage was the BZ-68 that he killed. He got 3,019. When it came to kills, he actually shared the top spot with the BZ-68. They both got 4 kills apiece. 3 kills went to the Vercingetorix on his team, and 2 kills went to the Waffenträger auf Panzer IV and the ShPTK-TVP on the enemy team. When it came to base XP, yep, he didn't get that, but he certainly came close. The highest was, in fact, the Skoda T56 with 1,094. The second place was the BZ68 with 1,021. And of course, the only 2 players who managed to make it over 1,000 base. But the third place was, in fact, CIENOBUCH with 932, beating the Waffenträger by just 22 experience points. Yeah, so yes, he actually did rather well, considering that guy was on the winning team and he gets extra XP for being on the winning team. Let's have a look at detail. He fired 32 rounds. Well, this tank destroyer carries 66 in total, so he was very conservative on his ammunition. He got 24 direct hits on the enemy and 16 pens, 6 splashes as well, mainly because he was actually firing HE quite a lot to get the damage. 5,213 hit points of damage, of which 1,194 were at more than 300 meters. He received 5 hits from the enemy, 4 of which penetrated, 3 non-penetrations or splash damage hits, mostly from the Arty, who was having a good go, and 10 enemy vehicles were damaged, 4 were killed, and on a free-to-play account, he actually earned 55,120 credits, including 7,200 for getting a medal, and that's, of course, the high caliber. And he also picked up 1,542 experience points, including Courageous Resistance, 514. So the other thing to say before the end is, of course, to say, don't rage quit your games. If you do, you might not have a usable file, which you could then use to show the game to other people. It appeared that CIENOBUCH actually got out of the game just at the right moment to avoid getting a corrupted file. If you leave a game prematurely, then the file doesn't get the end caps or the bits or the program pieces at the end, which actually tell it that that is a viable game and it's ended. If you do rage quit, then you will never be able to go back to that game. In fact, very few games can actually play on a replay if they've been rage quitted. So don't rage quit at all. Even if you are very, very frustrated, just let the game run out. And then obviously, if it does finish normally, you can actually run the game and we can replay it as a video. But if you rage quit, and a lot of people do rage quit or rather end the game quickly so they can get into another game, chances are you won't be able to play that game again and you might regret that. Hope you enjoyed that replay. If you did, please give this video a like and thank you for watching.